geez, I don't.
Hey.
So we're coming on, and I'm hitting the little record button, and I'm like, "Are we ready?" And Yolanda goes, "As long as I look cute."
I did.
And I'm like, "Of course you look cute. You're my wife."
This is how we joke around before we go live, because otherwise,
Yes.
you get too much in your head, right?
Right. You start thinking about these things.
Look, this says share again. I don't know what that. Look, I clicked the share button. I don't know what that means. Anyway, so we're here. We're live.
Right, Shaman and Yolanda.
Harper.
Yeah. Oh yeah, who? Harper.
Yeah.
From the Connected Relationship.
Yeah.
And
Looking cute.
looking cute.
On a Friday.
You look cute. I don't. Whatever.
Like I said, it kind of takes away some of the going live jitters.
Right, jitters. I think
Anyway.
it's good. Like when we start this, I always want to make sure we laugh before we start.
We do. We do. We have this moment of just connecting.
Typically, it's say something really stupid, and then
Well,
I mean, on my end,
well,
just to kind of get us to laugh.
Well, no, then I'm like, well, as long as I look cute.
Right.
The people who don't really know me are going to be like, oh my God, she's so vain.
She's not like that at all. But no, we're really here to talk about something today.
Yeah.
So
You have a scenario.
I have a scenario. So you're
Yeah.
sitting in a restaurant.
Imagine yourself. sitting in a
Imagine
restaurant.
yourself
Yeah.
sitting in a restaurant in COVID life.
Well, maybe pre-COVID or,
Right.
whatever.
Anyway, you're sitting in a restaurant and you're excited to be hanging out with your spouse or your significant other or that
your
partner in relationship.
The love of your life.
The love of your life, whatever it is. And you're like sitting there waiting and they're like this on their phone. Actually, they're like this on their phone. And, I mean, it's kind of like the sign of the times, right? Like everybody has their phone with them all the time. Everybody's got it. And
Yeah.
I mean, mine's sitting here. We're on one.
Right. That's why mine is.
Kind of hypocritical of us, I guess. I don't know. But you're sitting there and you're waiting for that person to get done with the one little thing they're going to do real quick.
Right. And the one thing
And
turns into another.
The one thing turns into another, and then it turns into checking Instagram, and then it turns into checking Facebook, and then it turns into checking whatever the kids are using these days. TikTok, I don't know. Whatever the kids are using. But it turns into all that.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like trying to say something, and the other person who's like this is like, and not really paying attention.
Right.
It makes you kind of want to just start saying, well, like, pink elephants have purple spots. And,
Yes.
Right? And it's
Are you
awkward.
even listening? Yeah.
Right.
Well,
That's it. Are you even listening?
Not only is it awkward, it hurts.
It is
It's
hurtful.
like,
It is.
it's like, do I matter here? Like,
Right.
Am I a person? Am I a human being in front of you?
Right. I think it can be kind of a buzzkill for relationships.
Totally
Right.
disconnecting. Yeah.
Right. So it's tough.
It is.
That's one of those moments where, like, in my mind, you have an opportunity to pass or fail.
well,
and you
pass and
kind of-
fail is kind of extreme.
Whatever. I look at it as pass or fail.
Okay.
And that's kind of a relationship fail.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a missed opportunity for connection.
And the sad thing is we all do it.
Well, we are guilty of
We all
doing
do it.
this. Yeah.
You know? I mean, I know when our kids were growing up, you used to have this policy of no cell phones at the
Like
table.
no devices at the table. Yeah.
And that was cool.
No, it wasn't. Everybody hated it.
Everybody hated it. But when it comes to relationships, and it comes specifically to trying to build something with deeper connection,
Right.
it's really a buzzkill for that.
Yeah, it totally misses the point. So.
And the whole reason we're kind of
Good.
coming up with
Yeah.
this topic
Yeah.
was because we were watching the news the other day. I think it was the morning show.
We did, yeah.
The Today Show, whatever it was. And they mentioned like a very simple survey or poll or something.
Right.
And one of the things in it was 42% of couples, of people polled.
Wait for this.
I
Wait
know.
for these numbers.
42% of people polled or questioned or
Right.
whatever it was, responded that they would rather give up their spouse for a month,
Their partner.
separate from their partner for a month,
For a month.
than give up their smartphone for a month.
For a month.
I think that's crazy.
Yes.
I think that's crazy.
It was shocking enough to both of us that we were like,
were
oh my
like,
gosh,
"What?"
is that real? And then we had to Then we had to look up the numbers. So 42% would give up their partner for their smartphone.
Right,
a month.
right. And there were some other things, like 40% of people said they'd give up their dog for a month, which
Their
I
dog!
wouldn't do that either.
Hello?
And then it was like 60% said they'd give up coffee for a month, which is
Coffee, people.
that's
coffee.
crazy. But anyway, the big one that we wanted to drill in
Yeah.
on was the 42% of people questioned
Give up your spouse, your significant other, your partner in life
for a month.
for a month.
I mean,
Not like an hour or a day or like an afternoon or even a long weekend. A month.
so essentially you could do this.
So you could do that.
And
Here's the thing. I mean, like, we are device addicted. Like,
we are. It's our
have-
culture.
It's across the culture. I mean, we are so trained to be so attuned and attentive, like even more attuned and attentive to our smartphones
Right.
than we are to our relationships. And understandably, we get the hit of dopamine.
Right,
Every
we
time
do.
we pick up the phone, every time, that blue light hits our brain,
Right.
every time we have that notification that really says, hey, you're important, even if it's intrusive, even if it's like a work notification or email or whatever, it's still like, hey, we interpret it as you're important.
Right. I'm important. Oh
Right?
my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let me see what's going on.
There's an update on Facebook. Oh my
Right.
gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. And what we know just neurobiologically is that energy goes where our attention flows.
Right.
And when we spend more time with our devices than we do with our partners, it's understandable that we would give up our partner for a month
Right.
to have an affair with our smartphone.
Essentially, that's what we're talking about, having an
Right.
affair with our smartphone,
Yeah.
which it's insane.
When you really pause and think about it, and that research, that whatever survey was really startling.
Right. And I think it was like an informal thing.
Sure,
If
sure.
you go chase that down and Google it, you find like an informal question or poll that was done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's scary, even if it was just 1,000 people and they said 42% were like, yeah, I'd give up my spouse
Even
for a
if
month.
it was 10 people.
Right. Even if it was 10 people that was like, yeah, I'd give up my spouse for a month. I think it just shows that when we come to relationships, these are systemic, bigger problems.
It's what we're battling when we're talking
Right.
about having a connected relationship, right?
Right.
These are the cultural norms that kind of get in the way
Right.
from our ability to connect with our partners.
Right. So we've got to find ways to combat that.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to find ways to if our point is to have deeper connected relationships, we've got to get there and off that,
Yeah.
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 Not that I'm saying you have to give it up completely or anything,
No.
but you have to make priorities in your
You
life.
do, and it's something that that each of us can kind of set an intention
Right.
to be intentional.
Right.
I have tried to be more mindful. As the kids have gotten older and now they're out of the house, we have a tendency more so to have devices or phones or
Right.
whatever at the table. I try to be intentional to like put it on the other side of the room or whatever.
Right.
Even when we're in the car together and you tend to drive just because you enjoy driving more than I do. There's a tendency for me to like pick up the phone and kind of scroll
Right,
and whatever.
right.
And so I try to be mindful of like, hey, now's a great time to connect.
Right.
So
I think it's something that just seeing how shocking that result is, how many people are willing to do something like that, I think it's something that we've got to figure out ways to get ahead of and build strategies
yeah,
around.
be aware of that.
And be aware of it because, I think it's one of those things that when you're aware, you can actually make some change and do some differences.
Because you kind of slide into it, not
Right.
even being, not even intentionally like I'm going to pay more attention to my smartphone than
Right,
I
it
do
just
my partner.
happens.
You just find yourself there.
Right.
And then it gets in the way of us, of couples, partners. A lot of times we do it because there's a hard conversation that needs to be had.
Right.
And we don't want to address the elephant in the room. So,
Right.
we stay busy doing other things.
So we'd rather see what Sally's doing on Facebook.
So we'd rather, see what's happening in the world of Instagram.
Right.
Because that's easier.
Right.
Honestly, it's easier.
Right. It is. And it's rewarding.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing is that it's so convenient and so rewarding all at one time that it makes the things that are going to be deeper in our lives it deprioritizes those.
It does. And another challenge that we have when we are especially using our smartphones for social media is that comparisonitis, right? Oh, well, the Joneses have a great relationship and ours sucks.
Right.
You know, like they're going on vacation and they laugh together all the time and look at their cute selfies and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You know, they don't have the problems that we do. So,
Which is completely false. Everybody's got problems.
yes, everybody's got.
And
yeah.
it's so easy to filter your life through social media and make it look great.
Sure.
you know?
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah. It's just
But-
a challenge to keep in mind, right?
Right.
And some of the things that we find to be most connecting in our relationships aren't necessarily super hard things. It's just being aware and being intentional.
Right.
It's saying, you know, oh, we're in the car together. Let me put the phone down. Instead of, you know, oh, we're having a meal together.
Right.
You know, let's put the phones away or whatever.
Right. So I think that kind of takes us to like our challenge this week.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge is put the phone down. You know, when you're together, pick a meal this week, pick a meal every night this week, and put it in a different room, you know? Or if you're going out to eat, leave it in the car.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be the end of the world if for an hour or an hour and a half you're not with your phone.
Mm-hmm.
It might actually stimulate some conversation between the two of you and draw you a little closer together, which, I mean, that would be crazy.
Imagine that. Imagine not wanting to have your phone over your partner.
Right. Imagine that. So, I mean, that's our piece this week on it.
Look, 2 weeks in a row, you come up with a relationship challenge. I like it. I like it.
I'm working hard
You
over
are.
here.
You are. That's right. We'll double your salary.
Right. All right.
All right, guys.
All right,
Have a good
guys.
night.
Have a good one.
Bye.